Hey, what's up, everybody? Happy Monday. Episode 161. Come on in. Happy Monday. I had to do it by hand. This is an analog show. What's up? Come on in. It's Monday. I'm excited for tonight. And I don't know why. Come on in. Wow, we got a full group in here. Quick. Excellent. Camille, what's up? Mark, Sweaty. Jason. Who else is in here? Atomic Pirate Girl. Come on in, everybody. If you are new, say hello. Say hello. I don't know everybody in here. It is a live chat, so if you're watching the rerun, look at the chat. And what else? Come on in, grab a drink tonight. I am finishing some Coca-Cola. I've been cutting down on the soda, and so occasionally I will have a soda. So cheers, thank you. No, I don't know why I'm excited for tonight's show, but I'm actually excited, so I have a lot to say. Malcolm, Larry King Guy. What's up, Larry King Guy? I like your name. That's a fun name. I miss the Larry King show. I do. What else? Let me see here. Let me get my notes before we jump into the actual subject. Tonight's show, I don't have a sponsor. There's no sponsors for this. None. But I sponsor my own show with my own company, Wacky Mart. So, thank you to anybody who's ordered on there. Thank you. I'm slowly adding stuff. I'm going to add more one-of-a-kind items and some more other things. But I wanted to show you something that I'm going to add. And I'm going to show you now in case anybody's interested. But I am going to add these. It's a Blu-ray of Embodiment of Evil and 2 DVDs. This is the Coffin Joe trilogy. I'm going to put these for, I don't know, like 25 bucks post-paid in the USA right here. This is going to go on the Wacky Mart unless someone right now PMs me. Because tonight I'm going to put it up. And then this, highly collectible, very hard to find. I think I'm gonna sell this for $125. Yeah, I think it retails for about $150 now if you can find one. But yeah, it's the book on spook shows. What's up, Camillo, Achilles? Come on in. A mighty hail to everybody. Let's have a nice Monday. We're going to have fun tonight. I don't know how many of you watched the Super Bowl. I am not a sports guy at all. But I watched the Super Bowl, and I have a lot to say. I had a blast, I'll be quite honest. But, yeah, I don't really watch sports. So it's why it was more fun, maybe. What else? So if you look below... you'll see that I give a link to Goblinko. And Goblinko is a company that makes a game that I play. They are not my sponsors, but they are a friend. And I don't mind advertising them as a friend because their stuff's so awesome, and I am a fan. I've gotten to know the people that make the product since It's been about 4 or 5 years now, I would say. No, more than that. 7 years. 8 years. My God, time flies. But I'm getting ready to receive in the mail the package of all their new material. And I will unbox it live, and I'm going to run that game live on this show. So, for the game nerds, for the non-game nerds, you might actually enjoy it. Yeah. I'm going to teach you how to play the game. I already made a video on how to play the game. Now you get to see it in action. So, the new stuff's coming. That's what I mean to say. Oh, by the way, if you're new to this channel right now and you're like, hey, what is this? Please hit the like and subscribe. It's very hard to move these terrible... Yes, Jason, thank you. It's very hard to hit the damn algorithm. Really, they keep changing it, and it's designed to go against me. It really is. It's designed to favor the corporate medias, the people that pay for the ads and the bumps and all the other stuff. Not me. I'm poor and do it the hard way. So when you hit the like and the subscribe and all that, it really does help. The other thing of the donations, look, I don't cry for them, but if you got any extra anything, I love getting tipped, and I do this full time, so it all goes into everything. Yeah, I mean, all this equipment that I'm using right now was paid for by the people watching the show. No joke. If you started watching the show early, you would have seen me growing the channel and the whatnot. So, you were interested in getting the core set of Dungeon Degenerate figures, and they're sold out. Yes, they do small runs of metal miniatures. Yeah, they might be hard to get. They will reprint them. They do occasionally, so keep your eyes open. I think I'm the only guy to paint the whole set as of now. I'm going to be getting another set of the new characters soon. And there's 2 in there that I can't wait to play. 2 new characters. Yeah. So, yeah, keep your eyes open. It's funny, I have some doubles of the minis. I might have a set. Let me look. I have a lot of their stuff. I ordered 2 of the games, so I had a backup. I'm obsessed with that game. Wait. Where will they deliver? Where are you, Sweaty? I remember you're far away. It's sad when people are far away and the postage is like $1 million. Mama in the house. What's up, Mama? I watched the Super Bowl with my mom last night, so you can comment, Fran, on some of your thoughts. Yeah, we were having fun watching it. And we were watching the commercials just as much as the game and analyzing them, which is what we're going to be doing tonight. Oh! Your stepdad is making a game? Well, Ryan, yeah. I'll review it on my game show. How's that? Awesome. I love games. It's my silly hobby that I don't try to make money with. Although I have made money dungeon mastering, which I could see me doing that as a retirement gig of sorts. Dungeon mastering. Yeah, that sucks, Sweaty. I don't know. I forget where you are, but yes, global shipments have gotten complicated. There are certain countries that it's so much money, it's insane. Yeah. All right. What else do I want to say before I get into the juicy? I know I'm going to forget something. I know what I wanted to do. I wanted to mention the books I was reading, because we have some reading freaks in here. I am still reading The Gay Science. This is so far probably in my top 3 now favorite Nietzsche books. It's also offensive material for them. Oh, Oh, in Dubai, right? You have religious laws. I am illegal in Dubai. Me. If I show up to, I think Dubai, Saudi, I'm not gay. I'm an atheist and an apostate and a blasphemer. And if they would Google me, there's a tiny chance I could get in trouble. Actually, a big chance in some countries, like Saudi. Not Dubai. But yeah, I understand. I'm very sorry that you have to put up with censorship. It pains me. I don't know. If you watch this show, you will hear me. Free speech is the biggest thing in the world. They will burn me as a witch. Yes. For sure. It's one of those things that, yeah, it's a little like, out. But gay science is not about gay science. It's the joyful science, as it's also known. It's an excellent book. I'm about halfway through. It is dense, dense, dense. This is the densest reading you're ever gonna get. If you're new to Nietzsche and you just jump in this, you're gonna be like, what the living hell? But one of my favorite books I've ever read. It's gonna be a slow read. Halfway through Camus' The Stranger. I will probably finish this by next week. I'm going to try to read 2 chapters a day. I could probably finish it in a day. It's really easy and short. But it's not what I thought. It's not what I thought. I know his philosophy because I've read a few of his books. But the way he's going about it in this is kind of surprising. I like it, okay? We'll get to that when I finish. I finished Goethe's Faust, Part 1, and now I'm on Part 2. So this book here, this has both 1 and 2 in it. Faust 1 blew my head off. Faust 2 looks not so weird. I don't know if I'm going to enjoy it as much, but I'm going to read it, as it is a pretty famous piece of literature that nobody reads. I don't know one friend, none, that are like, yeah, I read Goethe and enjoyed it. I've never been recommended. I've never had it mentioned to me. Never. Not once in my life. Through high school and my snobby university. Nobody mentioned how great Goethe is and that I should read it. But yet, I keep seeing it mentioned as one of the greatest pieces of literature ever written. So, I read it. It is good. I can't say it's the greatest piece of literature ever written, but I will put it on a pretty high pedestal. And I read a translation and I thought it, so I can't even imagine if I could read it in German. German is turning out to be, from what it seems, a pretty interesting language for poetry. When I'm reading Nietzsche, who's not writing, quote, poetry, yet he is kind of writing poetry, when they footnote how many meanings the words have, it's quite extraordinary. But at any rate, this translation here, this is one of those Dover El Cheapos with a cool cover. This translation kind of sucks, I'll be honest. I don't like it as much as the version I read Part 1. So, anywho, for the book nerds, let's go into the damn show. Oh, wait, hold on. I got writing here. Hit the like and subscribe. Thank you. They don't like magicians and psychics in Saudi. Right, or atheists, or people that are openly blasphemous. You can get beheaded for being a sorcerer. Yeah. It's pretty liberal. I know Dubai is trying to be liberal to get some tourism. I've read about it. I've known people to go. But yeah, it's scary. I always said I'll never go to a country that has theocracy. I've always said that. It's kind of like scary for me. Israel included. I mean, that's a theocracy too. They're all theocracies. The whole thing frightens me. I hear theocracy and I go hide somewhere else. I go in the woods. I'll get you an ice charm. What is that referring to? I like it. The Cure wrote a song based on The Stranger. Yes, another reason why I wanted to read it. Goethe had a high IQ. I think Goethe is not popular because of the name. When I say Goethe and you look at the word Goethe, it's like your brain hurts. And a lot of people don't even know who Goethe is by the way his name is spelled completely differently. I swear to God, it's one of the reasons. I'm going to do a show on how important a name is and how it can make or break something. A name, just the name. The cover of the book is what I'm going to... Let me write that down. The cover of the book. This also might turn into an essay. It's something I've been meaning to do. The cover of the book. People judge books by their covers. That's what the saying should say. It should say, not don't judge a book by its cover. It should be, people judge books by their covers. Don't. That's what it should be. Being burned in another country for being an atheist. I can't even imagine. Imagine being on the chopping block, being like, oh, wow. This is my fate just because I don't believe in a deity? Wow. That would be pretty wild. But a reality. All right. Who watched the Super Bowl? Let me hear you. I mean, I'm not a sports guy. I could care less. Some of my family members were betting money on the red team, which is Kansas. See, I had to think that for a second. And so I was kind of rooting for them. All right, let's start with... let me get... I get the cold joke now. Well, I mean, listen. If you are in a religious family or even a little bit of a religious family and you're a little bit witchy, it doesn't always work out well, unfortunately. It's one of those things. I find that being anonymous can have great power. You know, you don't have to be a martyr. Here you go. But countries with witch doctors, everyone read about eating albinos? I have, actually. Yes. What power do you gain from eating an albino? I know they have some weird stuff. Yeah, I mean, okay. There you go. See, Peter Benedetti in the house. The artists watching sports and making money. I love it. Yeah, my family won money too. So, here we go. The game, yeah, it was a great game. We'll get to the game. To me is the least important thing we're talking about here. The game was great. People say it's rigged. If you rigged that, I mean, I'm not saying sports aren't rigged. They definitely are rigged. If you understand the mob and its history and whatnot. But it's hard to rig certain sports. And I was trying to think of how hard it would be to rig football. As long as the quarterback is being paid, I think it's possible. But the score was so close, and the game was... there's no way you could have rigged it like that close. I mean, if you did, it's mind-blowing. But it was a good game. I had fun. The overtime thing was outrageously awesome. Right? I'm working backwards. Let's go into the commercials, and then we'll end with the halftime show. Okay? Now, well, Mr. Matthew the Metalhead, I would agree with that 100%. For me, most philosophies aren't for anybody except for the person. It's a personal thing. So whatever your philosophy is, I might be seeming like loud about it only because I'm a communicator and part of my thing is talking, and so I talk a lot of philosophy stuff in shop. But some things I don't talk about because I don't need to, and I feel that sometimes the more you talk about certain things, they lose their power. So, yeah, I agree. Or Muslim referring to what? Because there's so many comments here. Oh yeah! We'll get to the halftime show in a second. Let's start with the commercials. Now, I was watching with a notebook, but I was trying to watch it and have fun, too. I wasn't, like, taking notes like I do when I'm getting ready to do one of the... I really wasn't. I was passively taking notes. But I did tally it up. This is not accurate. I might be wrong with some of my counts. I listed the types of commercials. I definitely missed a few. I took a break at one point. So if I'm missing something, please, this is why we have a chat, and this is why the chat people in here are awesome. Please speak up. Yeah, this is a great group. If you're new and you've never said anything in a chat, this is the group to do it in. We're a pretty friendly group. Ask questions. It's great. So, I noticed last night, if I had to close my eyes and think what commercials pop out in my head, the first thing that comes to mind are religious commercials, car commercials, and lots of celebrities. Bam, 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 right there. Religion, cars, celebrities, maybe some junk food. I'm trying to just, what else? Blah, 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 blah. Yeah, okay. So let's count this down because there was some surprises. Somebody told me I missed this, that there was a Kanye West commercial. I missed it for his shoes, and that he made a lot of money last night. I didn't see it, so I have to go look it up. I just found out. Do I feel obligated to watch the Super Bowl? Excellent. No, there are many years I miss it. So I get a lot of Super Bowl parties to perform at, and last night I had an offer, and my rates were too high. They were like too much. But I've done some big ones. Like I've worked Super Bowl. Oh yeah, Mr. T. That was one of my favorite ones. Oh yeah, 80s too. Let me write that down. Lots of 80s stuff. So I don't feel obligated. I mean, if it lines up and my family or whatever and it looks fun, I'll watch. And it seemed like last night was going to be an interesting one. I wanted to see if there was going to be political ads, pharmaceutical ads, because think about this. If you want to speak to the world, or specifically Americans, but it is, people do watch it everywhere now, you do it here. If you want to subtly set a tone or set the stage for something, you do it during the Super Bowl. So for a study of just politics and the zeitgeist is the correct word, the zeitgeist of the brain of not only the mentality of America, but where they, and when I say they, I'm referring to the money people, the corporations, the industries, and the government, but it's mostly the industries who are running the government now. Let's be serious here. Oh yeah, I'll get to Kennedy. Oh my God, you're asking me a question I could do an episode on. What is your worst experience at a private gig? I could do... Let me write this down. I should do a show on bad gigs. Seriously. I'll tell a story tonight. But you might have to remind me at the end. I'm going to write this down. Bad gigs. Yes, I could literally do a 2-hour show on that one. But remind me in a minute, because it's a different subject, and I will tell a story. I definitely have had bad gigs where yeah. Yes. When you've done as many shows as I have, you're going to have stories. Okay. That's a whole nother one, and I can't really say much about, but yes. They're the fun ones. Yes. The gigs that you're mentioning are the ones I actually prefer. So, I saw 3 Scientology commercials last night. 3. Interesting. I saw 3 or 4 Christian commercials. Like, for a church. One of them looked like a very, very, very liberal Christian church. We'll get to that in a second. Well, let's go into them now. So the Scientology ones, there was 3 of them. I'm pretty sure they're having trouble financially. They definitely are. I think they make their money by squeezing the small amount of members they have and their real estate ventures. They definitely own a lot of property. They also pay the least amount of taxes, I've heard, than any other religion in America because they blackmailed the feds. They pulled a Jeffrey Epstein on the feds. They got caught, but then they got non-for-profit. So I think they had some dirt and whatever. Advertising game. How much what does that refer? Go into more of that advertising question. Wow, I think they are. Yes, Fallon. Yes, from what I gather, they're going broke. Leanne Remini and Michael Rinder and all the big ex-Scientologists that were top guys, and there's a lot of them. When you lose your entire top guy force, and they all go write a book on you, something's wrong. And the boss, Mr. Miscarriage, or whatever, what's his name? Yeah, he had his whole family write a book about him. I think the niece did, his dad did. No one likes him. Something's not right there. And it looks like they're losing money. So for them to run 3 commercials, wow. They did last year too. I was waiting for a Mormon commercial. I don't know how their businesses run. I'll bet they're hemorrhaging too. I'll bet they're losing business too. Not as much as the Scientologists. So then there were the Christian commercials. The first one that popped up got a lot of attention today on TV. So as the commercial's up, my family's watching it, and you just see people getting their feet washed. I immediately said, this is a Jesus ad. I could smell it. I can smell religious commercials. Yeah. So it turned, and it was like Jesus loves everybody was the message, including trans, gay, Muslim, blah, blah, blah. It was like, it was showing you, the priest was washing the feet of a gay guy, and like, it was like that kind of a thing. Super, God loves everybody no matter what. And I think that was the last thing it said, no matter what. And it's funny, the Bible does say to hate gay people. It says it very clearly in the Old Testament. And I always found it funny that there are gay Christians that kind of try to use the Jesus story to alleviate the pressure of the Old Testament. And, but Jesus didn't say to throw away the old laws. He didn't. He said to follow them. So, but at any rate, I always find, it funny when they try to water down Christianity. It's hard to claim divinity, but yet they were wrong. That's the catch for me. It's like, ooh, it's divine, but yet they were wrong on that thing they said. Or they try to say that, oh yeah, my sister used to work for Marriott, which is very, very Mormon. Yvette, I think they told you that if you became Mormon, you would probably make more money. Didn't they tell you that? You might get like a raise, a little more attention. I think I remember either hearing you say it or somebody else say it. There was also one Mark Wahlberg Catholic ad. It was like a Catholic company running an ad. So there's a push on the religion end, which I find interesting. I'm wondering if that's because the economy's kind of weird and like astrology gets more popular. Palm reading when the economy's wonky. I don't know. But at any rate, we can talk more about that. 2, maybe 3 Temu ads. Now, I don't know if you know what Temu is, but I understand Temu on a very, very detailed level, and I'd like to explain it. You probably have seen the ads. If you're younger, you might be ordering things on Temu. Here's how I discovered it. I saw the ads, didn't pay attention, and my kids showed it to me. I immediately smelled something strange, but I didn't pay attention. Oh, what's this? Should we stone the players? I love it if you're working. Oh, by the way, if this feed shuts off, be patient. I might have to reboot and bring it up again. 7 million for 30 seconds? Really, Mom? It was 7 million? Not 3? I thought it was 3 million for 30. Oh, wow. I didn't know that. Okay. Okay, back to Temu. You got to listen to this. This is important, and it's a little hard to explain. Temu is a carnival scam. Yeah. It's called a jam auction. My buddy's the boss of Coney Island, and I'm going to call him when we're done here. I don't think he knows this, but he should see it. we both study carnival scams kind of like on a studious level because it's what we do. But I mean, it's a fascinating study. So here's what a jam auction is. And Timu is, oh, my mom just looked. Thanks, Mom. She's my dramaturg for the show. What's his name? Jamie on Joe Rogan. Jamie, can you Google that? I'll make my mom do it. So here we go. Timu. They are a jam auction. And here's what a jam auction is. I think there's a video of somebody doing one as an experiment online. One of those con artist TV shows showed it. But, okay, so imagine you're at a carnival, you're at a car show, you're at a fishing show. Like when I was a kid, we'd go to fishing shows. That's where you would buy pocket knives, fishing rods, camping crap, outdoor stuff, right? Throwing stars. That's also where you would see, in the old days, Nazi regalia. Because they always sold World War II stuff, and I remember being like, whoa! And you'd see, like, swastika swords and really weird crap. Anyway, imagine you're at these, like, an outdoor flea market, and a truck pulls up, and they go, all right, everybody, we got a bunch of stuff here, discount, and you're all going to make out like bandits. Are you ready? And the crowd's like, what? That's good, Dan. I'll talk about that. You know, it's funny. I don't like scamming scammers. It's hard. It hurts me. I like scamming dummies because it's like a way for them to learn a lesson and for the scammer to make money. So, okay, you're making me laugh. But yeah, that's an interesting concept. So here's the jam auction. You say to everybody, you go like, all right, I got all these really nice pens. You know, they're like the perfect pen. They're really nice. They're the good ones. They normally cost $10 each. I'm going to give each one of you one right now. They're free. Just hang out and listen. So they go out and they hand everybody a pen. And then you go, all right, does everybody want to save money now? If you do, raise your hand and say yes. So now the crowd's, yeah! And you go, all right, here we go. All right, I got these. Now he gets out a radio. He goes, look, I got these radios. They're normally $20. Right now they're $5. Literally $5, and I've got about 15 of them here. Anybody want what? Boom. Now he's, boom, boom, $5, yeah, $5 bill, blah, blah. And he just sells a bunch, and then he sells some notebooks. So at the end of a 30-minute fury of him getting people to raise their hands and clap, and he's giving away stuff, when you're done and you leave, you just spent $50 on crap you don't need. Junk. That's a jam auction. And that's what Timu is. They're a digital version. They figured out that they're going to knock off crap, sell bulk of junk, organize it in a really good way, and then make a game out of it. It's a game. It's like you spin the wheel and you get discounts and you it's crazy actually. And you get sucked in. And they get you to follow some rules. They're using every brainwashing technique known to man in the jam auction. And that's what it is. So Timu, 3 ads. I think it's owned by a Chinese company too. I could be wrong. The only car ad I remember is the Volkswagen. Bud Light, I remember. Bud Light had some bad press. They had the trans activist guy, I'm very sorry, Dylan. The problem is Dylan Mulvaney's persona on camera, I can't, it looks like it's performative. And so when I first encountered this person on whatever, just, you know, the media's, you know, they would just pop up, you know, oh, all right, who's this? I noticed that Dylan, it seemed like an act. And so, as the spokesperson for the whole movement, I thought it was a little like, maybe not the best choice. At any rate, the Bud Light thing was a disaster. Their cleanup of it was a disaster. And they've had a little bit of I think they lost revenue over it. And now, last night, I remember the commercial being good. It was kind of funny and whatever. I remember being like, oh, Bud Light really they were one of the sponsors. They were really focused on the horses and the Clydesdale. And that, again, I think they realized to stick to the simple stuff. Beer and horses. I mean, really, it's like, I can't, companies are, if I had a company that big, I would try to make it as flat and generic as possible. Really. And just focus on, it's like when I do magic. I don't do any politics in my magic. Yeah, there you go. Modelo is better. I mean, the beer's bad. That's the problem. The beer. If the beer was good, I just don't get it. I really don't. I don't do. But when I do a magic show, I'm focused on creating wonder. I think Bud. What are they focused on? Making beer, and focused on nostalgia. I don't know, but I think politics is sometimes for. All right, here we go. Oh, I was waiting for pharmaceutical ads. I love watching pharmaceutical ads. I study them with a fine-tooth comb. And I did, Pfizer's big ad was not for the coof. The COVID coof. It was not for that. It was for some sort of it was like a cancer vaccine, which I was like, oh, because supposedly the science that they experimented on the whole world with, I don't know if you realize that's what that was, it seemed like. When they're giving donuts away and a $100 bill to get a shot, a shot that doesn't really stop the spread. It never did. It's a little weird, right? They were giving donuts away. They claimed that research made a cancer vaccine. So I've heard this. I'm not an expert on this. I'm just throwing out there things I've heard, and I'm tying them to the commercials last night. So as pharmaceutical ads go, I didn't hear the word COVID mentioned once. Did anybody else? I didn't. I thought maybe because the quarterback, or not the quarterback, the Taylor Swift guy, I can't remember his name. I went to the movies recently, and he did a commercial for Pfizer's flu vaccine and COVID vaccine, and the commercial was 2 for 1, and I just saw it at the movies, and I was like, 2 for 1? Oh my God, really? Still, and they showed the commercial twice, back to back. I think it was like literally twice in a row they showed it. It's like, why are they showing this now in the movie theater? It was in the movie theaters. A little weird. The flu vaccine is, I don't get it. I don't get the flu vaccine. I've never had one my whole life. I'd rather just get the flu. I mean, I get it. I get the flu once a year maybe. What's up, brother? Did you watch the Super Bowl, Lorcan? We're commenting on the commercials. Now, here we go. No political ads, and then RFK's ad. It looks like a 1960s political campaign ad. I love that there's a third wheel in the race. I don't vote anymore. I stopped. Maybe I should do an entire show on why I stopped voting. It'd be very hard to get me to go there and vote again. I don't participate in things I don't think are real. And I don't think our voting system is real anymore because of a two-party system. So, that's my belief in a nutshell on that one. Two-party system to me is rigged. It's how I do magic. The way the voting system works is how a lot of my magic tricks operate. You make two things the same, but different. So you make the differences something that you really get passionate about, like abortion or guns or things like that, and you create, that's the thing people find very like, ugh! But then all the other stuff is exactly the same, and it runs the businesses. It keeps the money going. So that's why I don't vote. But so RFK, third wheel, disruptor. I was like, wow, that's a ballsy ad. Now, supposedly, he didn't pay for that ad. It was there you go, Ryan. Never get sick. And you probably won't. You probably are healthy and making your immune system's working. I mean, I get sick the same I get all the sicks here and there. We should have a Gen X president by now. Like, well, they will get one when they find one that follows the rules. That's why I don't vote. They groom them early. They're looking now at who the next people, they pre-select them. They do what they do in America's Got Talent. They have a bunch of random people, and then from that, early, they kind of guess who the winners are going to, like, those are the people to focus on. And when you're in America's Got Talent and they like you, they help you. They actually choreograph your act and make it better. And they don't tell the audience that they're helping you. They do it in Drag Race. They do it in all of these contest shows. You don't see the behind the scenes. So the problem is they see them early. They train them to play the part. They lobby them all in manners that are unfathomable. And so by the time they get to the end, they're kind of following the rules, playing the game. They know they've been lobbied, and they know if that guy gets into office, he's going to fulfill the lobby. Listen, when you get a job on a lot of political campaigns, they'll tell you, hey, it doesn't matter if we lose. And this is what the American people don't get. If you win, you get to put your policy in. If you lose, you get to raise money now. Look at the NRA. When the NRA have a president again like Obama, they make a lot of money because everybody hates the guy, wants their guns. They donate money to the NRA. They start to make a lot of money. When they get somebody like Trump in or a Republican that leans on the gun issues, now that guy's been lobbied by all that money. He's going to pass the laws that favor them. But then they don't make any money. They have to be careful. So they want to lose once in a while. That's why I stopped participating. It's theater. There it is. They use social issues to keep everybody quiet. And then, okay. So at any rate, when I see a political ad like that last night, I was like, wow. Because it's different. It's something new. The only thing I would say to RFK, if I was hired as his coach, I would be like, bro, you really... And this is what I think the commercial was last night. I'm going to paraphrase its tone. And if you saw it, tell me if I'm right. If you think I'm right, I could be wrong. His tone, I would tell him to say it clear with his mouth to the dumbest of the dumb. And say, yo, I know that the media is painting me out to be a kook and all of this. But do you realize my father and my dad were killed by the government? And I know they won't say it, but everybody knows. Everybody. They know, I know, you know. We all know what happened. And so I think I have a say. That's what I would tell him. I'd be like, look, go out there and put it on your sleeve. Like, dude, my family were murdered by the government. I'm trying to, like, clean up a bit. And that's what his platform is, to go get the CIA stuff and clean it out. There's only a few candidates actually saying that. Like, actually saying we need to go in and clean up the CIA. It's too much. It's too powerful. So, RFK commercial. Look at it. It was simple. It looked like a 1960s Kennedy commercial. It was pretty cool, actually. Lots of retro. Lots of 80s in the show last night. One government ad that stuck out for fentanyl. Finally, something useful. Yeah, they had an ad on like how bad fentanyl is. And I know. The commercial they ran looked really low budget. Like somebody paid for it out of their own pocket. And it looked kind of cheap and low budget, which made it stick out. So, you did watch. Excellent. Mr. T, what was he on there for? I already forgot what he was advertising, but he was cool. It was neat to see him. He looked the same. Kiss. Oh, yeah. They get let on the field, the show, so they can... interesting. I know Kiss never did. They never played. Oh, we'll get to the halftime show. There was a commercial for Wicked, the movie, and it looked pretty darn cool. I'm not a Disney person, but it looked good. Every other commercial for a movie was an ad to get you to go look at it on a website. And that's because these commercials were 30 seconds long. They were short. Everything was short and sweet. Did anybody see the Kanye West commercial? I didn't see it. I missed it. I think people didn't realize it was him. What else? I'm trying to think of other commercials that there was some commercial for the lipstick that makes your lips puffy, which I thought was funny. And there was a commercial for some junk food, Skittles or sour or something, some nerds covered something. I hate all that candy, that sour nerds covered crap. I can't. There's so much of it. I don't know what it is. I'm a purist. If I want nerds, I'll get a box of nerds. Now, let's talk about, because we haven't even gotten to Zay the Cachao. Let's move quick, because I have a whole other thing to show you, because tonight's show is Brazilian Horror Hole 2, and I have some things to show you that you're going to love. I have some trailers, and if you haven't seen Zé do Caixão, Coffin Joe trailers, you're going to freak out. So stay tuned. If you're new to the show, hit the damn like and subscribe, please. Share the show, tell your friends, and if you're the donating freak type, hallelujah. Party on Wayne. All of the info for donating's in the description below. The show. The beginning of the show, I remember there was a black lady that sang a song that I thought was great, and then today I saw there was a controversy that it's some black national anthem. I didn't know that when I saw it. I just thought it was an opening number. I didn't put the two. I don't know if that's what they're intending it to be. I don't know. I heard it was some controversy. I didn't notice any controversy. It was a lady that wasn't a pop star, but more of like a Broadway singer. I'm really dumb with pop stars. At any rate, she sang, and it was, I guess I remember it being good. Reba McEntire sang the anthem, and I thought she was great. It's fun to hear the different style of country. You know, we get used to hearing R&B these days. The stylings of the notes, the country versions are so different. I really like the fact that they had live music. I mean, she was really singing, these people. They're actually singing. The lady that sang before Reba was really good. Is it really the unofficial black anthem? I really didn't know anything about that. Clueless. I don't pay attention to that stuff, but okay, so there it is. Well, whatever it was, that lady was singing circles around everybody. I mean, she was good. The Reba song, she was great. Nothing fancy, but perfect. What's his name? Usher? I loved it. I loved that he was actually singing. I loved that there was a real band actually playing, and I got a good ear. I was watching them and listening, and I know that stuff's hard to do. Live music in an outdoor venue where you're going to put the stage together and tear it apart, that's not easy. Those sound checks must have been so stressful. I've played live music to a lot of people. Not that many people, but a lot. And I never got to use an ear monitor. So I know they're popular because they're better. I mean, you can get exactly what you need in the ear. For those of you that don't play music live on stage, you need monitors so that you can, when you're playing music on stage, the guitar player might be 50 feet down there. You can't hear him. And it's just everybody's spread out. And so you need monitors so that you can hear what's going on. And in the old days, they were on the floor or side cans. They'd either be on the sides of the stage or right in front of you on the floor. It depends. You know, you can set them up. Now you wear an earpiece and you go, yeah, can I have a little guitar? I want that guy's vocal. I don't want his vocal because he sings out of tune. And I need the kick and the snare drum so I can hear the beat. I don't need to hear him. And I need to hear my bass a little bit, just a little bit. You can tell them to do that, and it's exact. Now, the problem is you can set everything up put the damn earpiece in, they build it, you walk out with your, and now it sounds a little different. And it's very hard to fix. Where's the monitor guy when you're on the stadium? Where's the when you're in a band, like even Iron Maiden style or AC/DC, you can look off to the side of the stage and be like, and keep playing, meaning I need more vocal, right? Or you can communicate. I mean, I used to run over and be like, can I have some of this? And then, you know what I mean? When you're in a stadium and there's something off, you're screwed. I mean, I don't know how they would communicate in that, because they're in and out. I thought the directing of the show was good. I thought the movement of the camera, the roller skating, the floor, it's slick. For a short and sweet show, holy. I'm not a fan of his music. I don't think once in my life have I ever played an Usher song. Not once. I don't hate him. It's not my thing. So I thought he did a good job. I thought the band was good. That's a hard gig, man. That is a hard gig. Can you imagine having to deliver the goods? Oh, Post Malone. Early in the show, Post Malone sang America the Beautiful and played the acoustic guitar. I do believe he was using an auto-tuner on his voice or something. He had something. But he did sound pretty good. I'll give it to him. It was good. I felt it. I could tell he was feeling it. I don't listen to his music either, but whatever I saw last night from a very objective, like, I don't know any of this, he did pretty good. Lorcan says, you don't even need a sound guy now. You can adjust all the levels in your iPad. Well, the sound guys in New York at the venues have an iPad, and they're walking around. Like, when you're sound checking, they're moving around the room, checking stuff, which is good. Yes. Well, the bass is the most important instrument. I don't want to say it to the guitar players watching, but the bass is the bridge between the melody and the rhythm. And there's actually some really good YouTube videos explaining on why the bass really is the most important instrument. And it's not a joke. It has to do with the vibrations, and it gets pretty serious. Yeah, check it out. When a bass player says it's the most important instrument, they get dirty looks, but it's kind of true. Yeah, they really have changed how they do sound now. Whatever they did last night was very pro. Now, one thing, got to remember, I think the reason why it was that good is Usher and that band, their show's in Vegas. And my son pointed out, they just picked it up and moved it to the stadium. Same show. So they're used to doing that. So, bass is the warm blanket that brings comfort to any song. Or splits your skull open. There's some bands that when they really... I'm trying to think of bands with really loud, big bass. Killing Joke. Really loud bass. Yeah, the bass is my fave. When I was a kid, it was my favorite. Because you don't notice it. But it's the main thing that's everywhere. But you don't notice it. That's why I liked it. Because once you notice it, you're like, oh my God. Yeah, you can kind of hear it. But it's more of a feeling. Listen, when I play music, I use a large bass amplifier. And it's not about hearing. It's about feeling. The vibration. I can feel it. I know if it's on or off, if it's correct or not, Manowar, yes. Now, Manowar's bass is very interesting. Murder, no, I don't know Metal Apocalypse. I can't pronounce it. I know who they are, that band, but I don't follow them. Look, we got to get into the show. I'm already an hour in, and I didn't even start Zato Kashao. How many of you know about Coffin Joe? Let me hear. A lot of people don't know who Coffin Joe is, and we have a lot of horror film people in here. If you've never heard of Coffin Joe, you're about to have your mind blown, and I'm going to open a deep, deep hole. I've been following... Oh, look, if you look at the hand cam, hi, this is a Coffin Joe resin kit. Very rare. This is the box set I'm going to show you in a second. But Tommy Blacha. Oh yeah, the piccolo bass is Joey DeMaio. But the way the frequency is on it really is powerful. The low end that comes out. Okay, so, wow. Coffin Joe. I made notes for this because I'm going to try to move quick, but Coffin Joe, I started following his career not in high school. I didn't discover his films until, like, college. And I remember hearing about them, but they were hard to find. It's a movie series, but then he made a bunch of anthologies using the character that aren't part of the series. Okay, Camillo, you're gonna love this. So he made the first horror film in Brazil in 1964. 3, 4? Oh my God. How do I not know this? I think it's 1960. Any rate, I think it's 64. He made the first one. Very controversial, very successful. Then he made number 2 in 67, even more controversial. I'll talk about that. And then he made the last one. It's called The Embodiment of Evil, which is the third part of the Coffin Joe trilogy. And that came out in 2003, I believe. Or 6. I'll check in a second. So it's recently, or sort of recently. Not recently, but many years later. Now, the character of Coffin Joe, just to give you why this is mind-blowing, this is not normal. There's nothing like this. Coffin Joe, I think I should show you the trailer for the first one right now. Okay? It came out in 1964. It's called At Midnight. Well, there's I always mix them up. It's At Midnight, I will... Oh, my God. This drives me crazy! All right, and it's also in Portuguese, so it's kind of hard for me to remember all these. Yeah, so At Midnight, I'll Take Your Soul is the first one. The second one is called This Night I Will Possess Your Corpse. That's the name of the movie. You're going to see the trailers for both of those films. I'm going to show you the first one now. But I'll give you just a little bit of backstory before we watch it. So his character of Coffin Joe, he's kind of like a gothic villain. He wears a top hat. He has a cape. He is an undertaker. And the character is kind of like if the Friedrich Nietzsche Ubermensch manifested in a really bad way. The guy's openly atheist, hates God, doesn't believe in the supernatural, and the entire point of the movie is he's trying to find a woman worthy to bear his child and carry on his superior genes. Now, that sounds weird, but the reason why the movie is mind-blowing is because you're seeing it from his point of view. He's the bad guy. He's immoral. He's a degenerate. He's sadistic. And you get to see this all from his point of view. One of the opening scenes, which is in the trailer, it opens with him eating chicken as the Catholic procession goes down. And he's just laughing at them because you're not supposed to eat chicken on Fridays. And in the trailer, you will see a special effect that's never been done before, where he actually glued glitter to the film. The film is really interesting. It's well shot. It looks like it uses all the tropes of a horror film, a gothic horror film, but when you see it, oh, it's not. It's like it's more than that. Here's the damn trailer. I gotta stop talking about it. Just watch this. Wait do you see this? The other trailer. Okay. Wow. There's a lot in that. Okay, so um there's been a lot of scholarly like examinations of this whole phenomenon. I'm telling you right now, it's not what you think. That scream was cheesy. Yeah, it's where's my notes? You got to see this. So the box set just came out, and I really wanted to show this box set to you. I want to show this to you. Where? Look at this. So this box set, I don't want to ruin it. Oh yeah, here it is. Look at how it comes. Okay, I'm going to put it back together just so you can see this. It's not all of his movies. It's almost all of his Coffin Joe movies. Yeah, the glitter is cool. So there it is. There's the back. And then when you open it, you get to see in his mind all the terrible things in his mind. And it has almost everything. It has a book, a really nice book. The book is glorious. Look at that. That's from the second one. And there's a poster. The box set was not that much money, and I don't know. I'm gonna be selling the trilogy soon for like $20, so keep your eyes open. There's the poster, and it's two-sided. So here's the thing. He made the first one. It was wildly successful, but right before his movie came out, and this is what I really wanted to point out, there was a military coup that lasted 21 years. And I think it was 6 months before the first one came out. And it was a military dictatorship with crazy censorship laws. And so this movie comes out. Yes, it is James Dunn. Yes, and okay, so that movie, Jim Dunn here is mentioning a movie called Awakening of the Beast. In that movie, I'll get to that. It's a little different. He's not really playing the character anymore, but he's in character. It's meta. So he made the first one. It did well. I think the censors were mad, but he made it. The second one came out, and they forced him to change the end of the movie. Just like Punch and Judy. I don't know if you know this, but the original end of Punch and Judy is he murders the baby, and then he gets arrested. He hangs the hangman, and then at the end, the devil shows up, and he kills the devil. And that's the end of Punch and Judy. Eventually, the Christian religious police didn't like it, and they made the puppet show have a new ending, where after he beats the devil, an alligator eats him. So when you're reading Punch and Judy, if it's got the alligator ending, that's the Christian influence. Well, they did it to Coffin Joe, and yes, it was the Catholics. They made him change the ending. They made it have a positive ending where the bad guy loses. And he regretted to the end of his life for doing it, and he thought it cursed his career by giving in to them. He really was a rebel. He did push the envelope. Now, when he made that Awakening of the Beast movie, I think they got in trouble for that too. But after the first two Coffin Joe movies came out, he stopped making Coffin Joe movies, but then he started using the character as an anthology guy, like the Creep in the Creep Show. And then he made a movie where it's meta, where it's about him and the character coming one, kind of like a new Nightmare on Elm Street. That was Wes Craven getting clever with the story, where it's about making Nightmare on Elm Street. And so Coffin Joe, the actor's name is Jose Morica Marins. That's his real name. Zé do Caixão is Coffin Joe in Brazilian, and Coffin Joe is the character. And he became a personality, like a Stephen King / Boogeyman Freddy in Brazil. And from the minute he was famous, it seemed like he was able to kind of be a character. If he was in America, he would have been on Hollywood squares. He always wore his outfits. He had long nails. He stayed in character. There's a great video. So if you do get the box set, You get the thing that you really are getting are the documentaries, and there's a lot. And there's a documentary of him giving an acting class to a large group of people, and you're gonna see. It's one of the coolest things I've ever seen. I went to a snobby theater school, and I saw. He did die a few years ago. Yes, like 2020, I think, recently. I have his autograph. I have a signed thing. So I'm a major fan. I think on the art level, he's pretty brilliant. But I'll give you an example of what's neat. And I know someone that took a class from him. The man that draws the acts at Slipper Room. When I'm performing at Slipper Room, there's a guy standing right 20 feet away who's drawing the show. And then he sells the drawings. It's kind of cool. He's from Brazil. He took an acting class, a directing class from him. So in the video, you see him on like a big stage and a giant group of people. And he's leading them through an acting exercise where he's telling them to all pretend they're on a plane. And then he does like the announcement the plane's going to crash. And he makes the crowd behave as if they're in a crashed plane. It looks amazing. You really will see some of the best acting you've ever seen. Almost as if he's a master hypnotist commanding this audience to act insane. And then he tells them they're burning in hell. And then it's really extreme. I was watching it from an actor point of view, and I was losing my mind. I was like, this is the greatest thing in the world. So, anyway, I'm going to show you the movie that they forced him to change the end for. I mean, he actually got arrested at one point for these things. Yeah. His early work was he made westerns. He made a couple of like westerns. They call them bang bangs. Brazilian bang bangs. All right, here. I'm going to show you his other trailer. No kids for this one. If you have little kids around, don't. This one's actually, I think, kind of disturbing. This is called This Night I Will Possess Your Corpse. What a title. Check this out. Folks, fantastic. I love that movie. That one's my favorite, the second one. It's really good. And I'll give you a little bit of the plot and some reality. There's a scene where he has like a harem of women because he's convinced them all that they should be with him because he's going to pick the one that's going to be the mother of his child, right? It's kind of a cult. It's really disturbing. But at any rate, in real life, Oh, and then he kind of tortures them to see which ones can take it, right? That's what the spiders are. But in real life, he did it to the actors. He's like, look, if you're going to be... Oh, you like it, Serena? Well, you got to see the movie. Because it actually is scary. So he made the actor... He tortured the actors in their auditions. He kept in his studio the spiders and all these things because he'd be like, look, if you can't deal with spiders and getting buried alive, you can't be in my movie. When I hear stuff like that as an actor, I'm like, wow, I wish I met him when I was, like somebody like him was around, because he seemed great. He took it very seriously, and you can see it in. I knew you would like it, Serena. I really want you to see both of these movies. You have to. Okay. Then the third one, all right, so he made those two movies. That's the one they made him change the end. They made him change the end. But when he made the third movie, he assumed the third one came out in 2006, I believe. He just pretended like it had the end he intended. That's all. That's all he did. He just ignored it. Like, that didn't happen. Which is fine. It doesn't mean anything. It means nothing. It's fine. The third one, the last one that's in color, look up the trailer. It's called The Embodiment of Evil. And it is there's some scenes in it that are disturbing. A woman gets a part of her butt cut off, and then she eats her own butt to show how serious she is. Yeah. It's so when you see his movies, they look kind of hokey, goofy, weird, but they're not really. Once you're in the world and you feel it, they are kind of scary. And he is scary, and I don't even know where to begin. He hates the supernatural, yet he's haunted by ghosts. It's almost as if he's playing the Nietzsche character of the Ubermensch, but he's the wrong version of it. Even though there's no such thing as right and wrong, his is the one that's the sour one. And he's making you confront it. And I saw one of the documentaries was commenting on how it's almost like anti-goth. Because gothic horror is a little bit romantic and mysterious. And it's very much like, come close. Like Dracula style. Like, I'm going to slowly impress you and bring you. He looks like he's going to do that. And then he grabs you and slaps you and throws you. He's like kind of violent and edgy and weird. And it's it's not what you think. He kind of looks at the camera and's like, you got to see it. So he made some other movies. After Coffin Joe, he made these other movies where he plays this other kind of a guru that comes out of the ocean and does all this weird stuff. I haven't seen those yet. And I haven't seen a lot of the movies on here. And I can't wait. I've seen the 3 trilogies a lot. And I've been fascinated by his other work. And I'm going to take a deep dive. I'm a big fan. I appreciate him. I'm sad I never got to meet him. He goes into one of my coolest artists. His films are not in English. And so they lose an audience there. But it's sad that a lot of people won't see his films because they're black and white and not in English. You should see them. They're fantastic. If you're a horror film freak, the guy was way ahead of his time. I mean, way ahead. On the horror, on the energy, on the exploitive nature of how crazy it gets, on the violence, on the he took it seriously. I think he was really trying to frighten people. And I think it worked. I think they work. They're successful. They're low budget. But again, you know me. I like low budget because it's an obstacle. It's the obstacle to overcome and where the greatness comes. And I think that's kind of the charm of almost everything I like. I don't like too many big budgeted things anymore. I like low budget. Always have. Wow. What else do I have to say here about him? Other than, I went down to a deep dive on, I put, Artur, Theater of Cruelty. Yeah, this is a form of cruelty that you're kind of confronted and forced to watch. Um, where does the character begin and where does it end? Yeah, that's kind of what happened to him. It kind of mixed in with his true character. Um, Goth is, oh yeah. So Gothic films kind of are moral tales. And this, I don't know if is a moral tale. It's not. It's immoral. It's an immoral tale with I don't know if the endings are satisfying to the moralist, but the second one, you'll if you see the second one, you'll see they made it. They gave it an ending. He's a sociopath, a narcissist. He rejects the supernatural. It's will to power, but on a level of like unease, an uneasy version of will to power. A big middle finger to the Catholic Church, a big middle finger to censorship until they actually arrested him. I don't like the show Mystery Science Theater 2000 or 3000. I'll be honest. I don't like sarcastic humor. I do a whole. I have a show on it. I like some sarcastic humor, but basically I don't. And the movies that they're making fun of, I would rather just watch the movie and make fun of it myself or not make fun of it. That's why. I don't. It's just I know they're wildly popular. People love them. My personal tastes are I never enjoyed them. Even like, yeah, I don't need the. I've seen all these movies before too. I don't know. You'd have to show me one that's good, like watch this episode for me to like reevaluate it. Why do people censor a story? Because it goes against the narrative that's trying to be sold. That's what I was trying to watch last night on the Super Bowl. What's the narrative? They are selling one. They always will. They have to. If I were them, I'd be selling a narrative. What's the narrative? So that's why they censored, because it doesn't go to the narrative. Why do you think the federal government got involved with social media? Especially during the pandemic. They wanted to set a narrative. Why would they forbid you, or why would they say it's misinformation if you said it came from China? 2 years ago, if you said, I think the vaccine came from China, you got a red flag or a mark. Who cares if it comes from China? What if I thought it came from Sweden? Or Iceland, for that matter? Or Antarctica? Why am I being censored for where I might believe? Because they had a narrative. They didn't want it interrupted. So they started influencing to set a tone. That's the version of the scared kid that runs in this. Yep. They didn't want to scare people. They wanted people to not cheer on the bad guy. They thought it was bad. Well, you're right. Your answer is correct. Camille says, why do people censor a story? And then I gave this long answer. And then Camille answered with the correct answer, which I didn't give, which is because they can. Might is right. He's right. That's all it was. You're right. That's what I said. If I was in charge, I might be wanting to change the censorship. You see what I'm saying? It's interesting. Well, that Satanic Temple thing is owned by a media corporation, and so I don't like them. They're political activists. That's all it is. That's literally all it is. And I think they get in the way. And the reason why I don't like them is they're trying to use the technique of, I'll beat the enemy by acting like the enemy. Like, if you're annoying, I'm going to go over here and be annoying. And if you're studious, I'm going to go over here and imitate your studiousness. Whatever it is, that's what they're doing. And they also imitated their enemy by going for non-for-profit. So they're garbage. They're not even, it's not real in any way, shape, or form. Their tenets are Buddhism. So their Buddhism hiding is something else. It's weird. Um, yes. Yeah, I mean, the Fallon, you're right. Between regular browsing and social media, I feel 2.0 of connectivity is due. We need less algorithms and ads canceling. Yeah, well, I mean, everything goes in a direction. Everything's expanding. And I guess for these big social media companies to pay for that giant building they have now with offices of humans, they need to make money and make more money. And if they don't make more money, it falls apart. And the only way to make more money is by the damn algorithm. It's sad, but that's it. That's all it is. Once it gets to be a certain size, they have bills to pay. Once they have bills to pay, it changes. Yeah. They are tax exempt. Yeah, and that's why they're scum. All religions should pay taxes. Yeah. It's really weird. It's like I don't get their eventually their whole thing's going to backfire. Here's something. The Satanic Temple can only exist if you tell somebody about the Satanic Temple. That's it. They serve no other purpose other than that. There's something you tell somebody about. That's it. It's a publicity stunt in its design. And they've changed their core principles 3 or 4 times because it's not based on anything. They didn't start off as one thing. It started off as a stunt promoting. They started off. I should do a whole show on them one day. How bad they are. At any rate, it's irrelevant. I don't even like talking about them. They are annoying, and at this point, cringy. So, it's like the band. What's the band? Twin Temple. A lot of people like them. I find them cringy. They're also Satanic Temple twits. Temple twits. Yeah. Yes, they are. So, wow. I mean, I'm telling you now, go find Zedo Cachao, Coffin Joe. If you look them up, watch the first one at midnight. I'll take your soul. That's the best. I like the second one, but you watch the first one. It's fantastic. The third one is very good too. Watch all 3. I'm a fan of all 3. I don't think any of them are bad. I think they're all good for different reasons. The new one has some disturbing stuff. There's a scene with a real dead pig that's quite disturbing. Yeah, they're just marketing. Yeah. You know what's funny is the company that's crazy, and I think there's a documentary about them, is the Westboro Church, the God Hates Fags with the they show up at the funerals. They are a bunch of lawyers that sue you when you go after them and make money. Theirs is another money-making scam. Everybody's trying to make money. Wow. I mean, yeah, I don't even think she's hot. You know, if they got rid of the Satan thing, they are blander than bland. They have nothing there. Musically, to me, it doesn't do it. And lyrically, it does not do it because it's not real Satanism. They're not actually doing the real, they're not scary because real Satanism is scary to people that don't, it's scary because it's real freedom. And real freedom is beyond good and evil. And that's not what they are. They're the opposite. They're good. They're selling a good. So to me, they are non-Satan. They're the opposite of what they're selling. Yeah. When I found out when I looked just a little closer at them, I was like, they're like Venom. It's fake. They're just doing it for the thrills. I think at this point, they're because they got a high five from the temple, they're like, oh, we're in now, so we're gonna treat it even more real. I don't know. What's the new one? Oh, the new one is this. I'll hold the video. Well, Here's the DVD, the Blu-ray that you can find everywhere. Embodiment of Evil. It's a Blu-ray. It's crazy. It's crazy. You're gonna be watching it like this. Now, I want to say one thing before I go. I'm always fascinated by things that are cultural that don't make sense. For instance, did you know in Japan that if you put your arms out and bend your hands like this, that means ghost? This, with your the hands have to go down. If you close one eye, that means ghost. Did you know, and I didn't know this, my kids are half Japanese, by the way. I don't know if you know that, and they speak Japanese. So this is why I know a lot about Japanese culture. I've been there 9, 10 times. When I saw the movie, The Ring, I thought, what a weird concept of the ghost in the television. But over there, it's not weird. They attribute supernatural behavior to electronics. So see how that's a cultural weird thing that in format and film, we see it as this weird, strange, new, what's the word? They have their own vernacular. Their horror vernacular is a little different than ours, right? Well, the Brazilian one's just the same. They have some weird vernacular we don't have because of their voodoo influence, their Brazilian voodoo. I forget what it's called. Macumba? I think that's what it's called. They have their own versions of these things, and it's mixed in to this. And they're also using some Western tropes, like spiders and bats and whatnot, but they have their own versions of it. And that's why, on a cultural note, you get the Brazilian flavor, and it's wonderful. So check it out. Brooklyn? You mean Brooklyn, New York? Yes. Well, okay, I think I've performed where you're talking about. In Greenwood Cemetery, they do performances, and it is, yes, Macumba. That's it. Yeah, it's very cool. Yeah, wow, that's cool. Folks, I had a great time tonight. Tonight flew by like that. I had a lot to say. I hope you had fun. If you see me wiggling, it's because I have to pee. You never see people on TV go, I gotta pee. But I do. What do they take, cough? They take breaks? Does anybody have anything else to say? If you're new, hit the like, hit the subscribe. If you're the donating type, please do. Oh yeah, Greenwood Cemetery. I've done shows there, a few of them. I've done magic. Yeah, they have an area that they use for performance. The grave there was a theater director, which is why they do shows there. And when you get dressed, you're in the mausoleums. That's the dressing room. It's amazing. I've done maybe 3 times I've performed there. Bad gig story. Quick bad gig story. Which one? Wow. The gig where I caught my agent stealing? That's a whole one. Bad gig. Here, the first one that comes to my mind. I was hired to perform for Orthodox Jewish divorcees over the age of 50. Over the age of 50. Divorced, Orthodox Jewish. And when I mean Orthodox, I mean Hasidic. You know, they have the curls. They were Lubavitch. They were very religious. And so in their religion, if you get a divorce, it's bad. Let me tell you what. So they hire me because I'm not Jewish and I can work on holidays and stuff. Thank you very much, Camille. And it was one of the worst gigs of my life. No one would watch my magic. First of all, I did mingle, and then they wanted a show. The mingle was terrible, and when I did the show, no one sat with a mazel. No one would sit within 3 rows. No one would take a card. No one would volunteer. There was no clapping in between tricks. It was like this. It was like doing a magic show. And so there's no winning. And I left the gig, and I called my agent, and I said, you can never book me for anything even sort of like that. That was worse than getting booked to do a funeral, because I've done funerals, and it was fun. This was terrible. And so, she apologized and whatnot. And then the rabbi wouldn't pay my agent the balance. He said I was terrible. And I said to my agent, well, she paid me. She just paid me. She was great and paid me. I told her, if he doesn't pay you, I'll go get the money. I'll show up and get it. And she was like, no, I don't want to. I don't think she did anything. Yeah, really rough. Terrible. But yeah, I could go on and on. Wow, folks, let me get out of here. I've got this massive thing here to take care of. And I also have Coffin Joe stuff to watch. I'm going to watch one of the documentaries. There's like 15, 20 documentaries on that box set. Folks, if you'd like to donate, there's a link below. And, yeah, I'm going to take us out with the trailer. You guys rule. This was episode 161. I think I'm here next week again. Please spread the word. I really enjoy doing these, and I want to keep doing them. Cardone terrible. Oh, I got another one I'll tell you next week. Maybe my show next week will just be bad gig stories. All right, I'm out of here, folks. I'm going to do the end credits. Bye.
Coney Island, the world's greatest fun frolic, with its beach miles long, all peppered with people, the place where merriment is king. Let's mingle with 1 million folks who are just like all of us, 100,000 youngsters and oldsters, all swimming, playing, or resting, all getting their share of the sun and the fun, all refugees from the city heat, here where the beach meets the cool Atlantic, here in this great whirlpool of joy, here for a lark at Coney Island, world's biggest barrel of fun. Some take it easy on the $4 million boardwalk, while others snap pictures for proof back home that they really were part of this fun-seeking throng. With amusements here, there, and everywhere, it's hard to decide where to start. Rivers of humanity in carnival mood pour through Coney's many streets.
Hurry, hurry, step this way, the strangest sights on the island. Freaks from the four corners of the world. For 2 nickels, 1 dime, a 10th part of $1, we've got the show if you've got the dime. It's just starting, so hurry, hurry, look 'em over, the lady without a head. There are thin ones, there are fat ones, they're all inside.